Right. So in this video, I am going to explain to you how you can actually create a good pre-sales resume that gets you interviews. The first step is understanding the hard way. The hard way is when your resume is just one in a stack and no one cares, and there's like a million pre-sales resumes there, and it's really hard for you to stand out. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to explain to you the easy way, which has helped me land a pre sales role and will help your resume stand out in the stack. I mean, this is absolutely fundamental stuff I'm teaching to you here. So, why do most pre sales resumes just absolutely suck? First reason is, they do not experience is completely irrelevant. It's the biggest mistake I see. If you want a pre-sales job, your experience has got to be pre-sales related. Please do not put your experience working in fast food or customer service. Most hiring managers are not going to look at that. Next step is your lack of ability to quantify. Numbers count in sales. You've got to be able to quantify things such as we increase customer service by X. We reduce scalability by Y. Things like that. It should be crystal clear what your quantified results of your resume are. Then you got to convince the hiring manager about your ability to sell. Persuasion and soft skills are really important here, and half your resume should help to convey these skills to the hiring manager. And finally, you got to be able to convince the hiring manager about your technical ability. That's the other half of a pre-sales job. What quantitative skills do you have? What technologies have you worked with? What programs have you worked with? This stuff is like absolutely crucial to landing a pre-sales job. Now here's how you craft a pre-sales killer resume. First step is, you got to put your sales and your technical experience up front. Because the recruiter is only going to look at the resume for maybe like 6 seconds. It should be super clear what your experience is along this front because everything is based on it. You got to bold relevant items. They scan the resume in 6 seconds or less. Make sure you bold the things you want them to look at. This is like absolutely important, particularly your sales and your technical knowledge. Third thing is they should not be reading your resume for the first time. This goes back to some of my other videos where I talk about informational networking, informational interviewing, and so forth. They should be looking at your resume first, the people who you have networking calls with. The HM should not be the first person to see your resume, please. Final thing is please get rid of white room or do not crowd the resume. Should be readable and should be legible. That conveys professionalism. If you have a resume with a ton of white space or you have a resume that has just too much stuff in it, they're just going to discard your resume and move on. There's other people that they can look at. And if you want help with this, I would recommend that you book a personalized call with us today. It's a value call. We're not going to sell you on anything. We're going to help you come up with your pre-sales job search strategy. We're going to discuss things like what are your pre-sales career objectives, coming up with the dream lists of companies and roles, and going through how to perform good pre-sales networking. Absolutely crucial. And if you want further help beyond the call, we do offer career coaching deals. It's a monthly deal. It's about $500 a month for weekly meetings, as well as unlimited DMs with me and my team. And finally, if you are interested in meeting with us, leave a comment below and we will send you our lead magnet, which kind of explains the entire process of getting a pre-sales job. And thanks for watching the video.